The gospel simply means good news. And all of us, if we're following Jesus, have at some point heard the gospel message. Maybe it's from our parents, a preacher, a friend, or a stranger, but they loved us enough to communicate the good news. Every day we're surrounded by people who don't know Jesus and who may be willing to follow Him if only they knew. If we're going to share effectively, we need to know the good news. One of the best summaries I've ever heard of the gospel message is the 4 words: creation, fall, Jesus, restoration. Creation. God created us in this world and He made everything perfect. Fall. We were separated from God when we used the free will that God gave us to do things that were evil and selfish, choosing to go our own way. Jesus. But God loved us enough. He had a rescue plan. Jesus died and He came back to life so that we could be forgiven for every wrong thing that we've ever done and we could become friends with Him again. Restoration. And now, as His followers, He calls us to be part of His wider plan, which is not only to see all people restored to Him, but to see the entire world restored to the way He intended it to be. The story of Jesus is at the center of this message, but the rest is important too, because if people don't believe in God, for example, then the rest of the gospel won't even relate to them. And if they do believe in God, but don't understand the way us humans have turned our backs on Him and been separated from Him, then there's no reason for Jesus to die and come back to life. A family once moved to a house near a train track. The father gave his children clear instructions never to play on the track. But one day, the father heard screaming. Following the noise outside, he found his son stuck on the tracks in the path of a coming train. Now, the father only had time to free his son and push him off the tracks. The boy was saved, but the father was killed. That day, the father gave his life for his child. This is like what Jesus has done for us. In spite of God's warning, we chose to disobey Him, deserving death, separating ourselves from our loving Father. But God loved us and He stepped in to save us. We deserved to die, but Jesus died so we could live. Now we can be forgiven. We can escape hell. We can be restored into a friendship with God again, only if we would trust in Him and follow His ways. Creation, fall, Jesus, restoration. It's a simple and useful summary of a truly powerful message. How often, though, should we expect to share the whole message? Should we be sharing it in every conversation? Or do you think it'd be more realistic to help people every day and in every way take steps towards Jesus through conversation? Imagine that you share the gospel with a friend one day. What are you supposed to say the next day? Share the same message again? No, not necessarily. We need to learn how to engage the gospel conversation. We need to find out where she's at in her views on God and religion. She may be disinterested in Jesus because she doesn't yet believe God even exists. Why doesn't she believe that? Well, that's a good question you could ask. You see, every day we can be involved in helping people take steps towards Jesus through learning to engage everyday conversations. There's a message to share, and it's important that we're prepared to share it. But we'll even be more effective in reaching people if we also learn how to chat with people in a natural way with parts of the gospel message in mind. As someone put it, we help people every day and in every way take steps towards Jesus. So what is the whole gospel? Creation, fall, Jesus, restoration. It's a simple message with Jesus at the center of it. There is a God who created all things and who can be known, but we're separated from Him because we've all chosen to do wrong. However, God loved us and He made a way that we could be forgiven through Jesus' death and resurrection, so that now, if we choose to ask for His forgiveness and turn to Him, we can be His children and we can be part of His wider plan to restore others and this world. We have been entrusted with a message that has changed many lives and that can continue to change many more. This is the gospel.